Everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada, and you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It is Tuesday today and I am here with a sketch challenge for you. So this is the last sketch challenge, of course, before Christmas. Christmas is in 2 days. It's Christmas Eve tomorrow. Can you believe it? I've got my presents wrapped. Everything's under the tree, thank goodness. Yeah, I think we're mostly ready. It's going to be a really quiet Christmas around here. Spending Christmas morning with neighbors at a potluck breakfast that we typically have, and then just a quiet afternoon with my husband and I. And so yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to some quiet time and just relaxing over the next few days. Hopefully you'll get some time to relax. It's not too chaotic in your household. Maybe even on Boxing Day, if you celebrate Boxing Day like we do here in Canada and the UK and other Commonwealth countries, maybe you'll even get into your craft room on Boxing Day. All right, I am here with another sketch challenge, and I'm playing with another sneak peek from the upcoming January to April mini catalog called Woolly Friends. Now, this is a punch bundle. It's so cute that I couldn't resist pulling this out. This is also the bundle that we're using for the monthly club, stamp club this month, and so if you sign up, you'll get 3 make and takes plus designer series paper, ribbon, and embellishments with your make and take kit. So that registration is open now. All right, let's get started. Switch over to my desktop. Don't forget to let me know where you're watching from. If you're all ready for Christmas, what you got going on. So this is the sketch, and if you miss any of the measurements, they will go live on Instagram and Facebook in about a half hour's time, just after I'm finished. So the card base is 4 1/4 by 11 or 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and then a 4" by 5 1/4" layer. Then you need 5 strips of whatever you want to use. It could be designer series paper, it could be cardstock, it could be embossed cardstock, but 5 pieces that are 1/2" by 4, and we're going to trim those a little bit. And then some kind of shape. I've got a circle that I'm using, and then I'm going to put a layer on top of it, but some kind of shape that's about 2 3/8, and I said that because I use the 2 3/8 inch circle punch for my card. All right, let's bring in the product. So this is the Woolly Friends bundle. I love punch bundles, and look at this one, how cute it is. So it's got the little sheep, 2 different, if you wanted a black sheep, you can stamp it black or white. I haven't quite figured out what the multiple legs are for, so that's going to be interesting to play with. Some tulips, and 2-step stamping for the tulips and the bow and the bell. Look at this cute little bee, some grass, and some very cute little sentiments. And then, of course, a punch that you can punch out those instead of dies. Now, I am using, this is called Splash of Sparkles Designer Series paper. It's specialty paper. And one of my team members, hopefully she's going to watch this, I think she's probably still working, she asked me to show this, and so this is called, like I said, Splash of Sparkles Specialty Designer Series paper. It is one of the new online exclusives, and it's specialty because of the foil. So this one is in, I think it's pretty in pink, the colors it says. Azure Afternoon, Balmy Blue, Bubble Bath, Daffodil Delight, Highland Heather, Lemon Lolly, Pool Party, Pretty in Pink, Shaded Spruce, Timid Tiger, Gold, and Holographic. So I think this is pretty in pink with silver, and then just some multiple colors and shapes. Highland Heather, pretty in pink, and I guess this is the holographic. It's probably not silver. And then the Azure Afternoon, Balmy Blue, and the Shaded Spruce. Another one, this is marbled with the holographic Petal Pink. I'm using this one today. I couldn't resist the Timid Tiger Gold, and I guess it's Bubble Bath, but I'm putting Pretty in Pink with it. The other side, again, some you could cut these out and make them into a card base, a very perfect size. Again, more shapes, splashes of colors, sparkle. And Timid Tiger. Look at this, would be great for a scrapbook page. So pretty with all of the rainbow of colors. And on the back side, just blotches or circles of all sorts of colors. It's very pretty paper. So Sandy, that's it. I don't know if we'll be showing it during the virtual launch, but I wanted to show it today. So I will tag you just in case you miss it. All right, so let's bring in what I've got. So I've got a card base. This is thick basic white, and it's 5.5 by 8.5. So we're going to score it at 4 1/4. And use your bone folder to fold into the mountain or the raised line and give it a good burnish. Alright. And then I've got a piece, I actually have an extra layer in here because when I saw the designer series paper I couldn't resist layering it. So this is actually 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then I've got an extra layer in Pretty in Pink, which I have embossed using, this is called Beautiful Patterns embossing folder that came out with the brushed beauty, and so I've got that, but I'm going to get my Pretty in Pink ink. And just bring out some of that. So I've got my blending brush, tapping it, starting off, and I'm just kind of blend some ink around the edge. Actually, probably around the whole thing because this is the center, the first. Just so you can, it makes that that embossed pattern just pop a little bit more when you add some ink to it. So if you don't have a blending brush, you could use a sponge dauber or just a sponge. I love the blending brushes. They're just so easy to use. Okay, so that's going to layer on like that. Like that. Now I've got 5 pieces of the designer series paper that I cut. And so I'm gonna cut these to just varying lengths, and I'm not really worried too much if they're all the same length or not, but I want them to be all kind of different lengths. If you want to, you could angle the ends. There we go. But I am just going to take, and I have a brand new Stampin' Seal. I treated myself, my Stampin' Seal were getting pretty ratty looking, and so I decided I would treat myself to a whole new one. Get it started. Now I'm going to start with this in the middle, roughly the middle. It doesn't have to be even. We're just going to put a line of, well, 5 lines. So that. Again, offsetting some of them. Another great way to use up our little scraps of designer series paper. This isn't scraps because I'm going to trim that one off because it's going to go, oopsie, get it glued down, so we'll trim that little edge off. So if you've got some scraps of designer series paper, this is a great way to use them up. So that can go on there. Normally I use liquid glue, but I seem to have got my Stampin' Seal going again. All right, there we go. Okay, so I punched out a circle in Timid Tiger. I also need to stamp a sentiment, but we need to stamp, so that's going to go in there. We need to stamp these adorable these adorable sheep. Now I'm going to show you a little trick to create a template. So I'm going to take and punch. So those are that's just a template that I can use. And now I've got a piece of basic white. And you can now take, and hopefully you can still see that. So we need our stamps. So, got my sheep. Put that down. And I need my memento. So I'm just going to hold this in place. What this will do is, once you've stamped this, I can now take and run it through my punch, and it's in the stamped images are in exactly the space they need to be able to punch them out. Maybe not that one, so we'll just push that over a little bit. Now we need a bow. Oopsie, that one came off. All right, a bow. And we're going to use a bow as opposed to the bell, so I don't need to stamp that one. So now I have, except that I didn't really do that one very well, so let's just take a black marker. If you ever have a stamped image that isn't perfect, just take a black marker and kind of fill in the line. One of my pieces came off. Didn't press it down. Give them a good burnish. Okay. So now I need to take the inside of my bow for the sheep, and I'm going to stamp it in pretty in pink, like that. And now you can take and just insert this into your punch, and all of your stamped images are in the right spot. And so then you can save that template for later and use it. Okay, so I'm going to put that on. How cute is this little sheep? Oh my gosh, how adorable. Okay, let's put some dimensionals on. So one of my other hobbies is spinning and weaving, and I belong to a Spinners and Weavers Guild, and so I think this is just going to be the cutest stamp to be able to make cards for guild members. Cute. Oh my gosh. Now, if you wanted to, you could take maybe some gray granite or smoky slate and just kind of give it a little bit of a, there's the light. So you could just kind of, we'll do the legs. Could have done this before I stuck it onto this circle, but just add a little bit of color with the your gray or your silver. Not silver, shaded smoky slate is what it is. Looks silver. So we're just going to take put that there. Now, I need to adhere this onto my card, and I need a sentiment. I love this timid tiger and pretty in pink together. I would not have thought about that until I saw the designer series paper. All right, so sentiment. Let's do this. Welcome. Actually, no, you are simply fabulous. That's true. And I'm just going to stamp it in Memento, the right side round. Close my lid up. If you aren't somebody who fussy cuts, then just cut a rectangle, or you can punch it or use a die. But I'm just going to take and put that, use a dimensional on this one end. And some Stampin' Seal. Like that. Oh my gosh, how cute, how cute. Now, I pulled out, because I wasn't sure what kind of embellishment I was going to use. These are, they're called Loose Valentine's Assortment. And I don't know if you can see them. So there's little envelopes, but there's lots of hearts, and they're in pink and red. And so I thought what I would do is use some of the little hearts. So I'm just going to take some liquid glue and just put daubs of my liquid glue. And now I've got the putty end of my take your pick tool, and I'm just going to, I've got some white hearts and some pink hearts. Like that. And this one is a little bit darker, but it's still kind of pinky. Got a little bit of glue splodging out on that one, but we've got it covered. All right, these are so cute, and they're like, you get a ton of these. So I made a shaker card the other day with them, which was cool. There we go. Now let's stamp something on the inside. What shall we stamp on the inside? Let's stamp this little bee. I can stick into my fingers. So we'll just stamp it with the Memento. Like that. Actually, it's not a bee, it's a butterfly. There we go. Just something on the inside of my card. There we go. Isn't that cute? Again, this is Woolly Friends, a new bundle that is coming out in the January to April mini catalog. So it will be available in my online store starting on January 6th. And if you want to sign up for the monthly club that's using it, you will get 3 make and take projects plus designer series paper, ribbon, and embellishments that will go. You do need to have the bundle yourself, so you can add that to your order when you order the kit. All right, everybody, that's it for today, and that's it until after Christmas. So I hope that you have an amazing Christmas. So much stuff going on at Christmas, so make sure you take some time for yourself, and I know you have some amazing time with family and friends over the Christmas season. I will be back on Saturday with another project, so come join me then. Merry Christmas, everybody.